Now, if we come into the forex market here, we can see this is USD CHF. Now, let me explain how long I have been anticipating the USD CHF pair. If we go to the weekly time frame and stretch it out a little bit, we can see that this trade is something that has been working its way out from a very long time. So as the trade break or as it broke below, uh, as the trade broke as this trade broke below this major support and resistance zone, we can see whenever it comes underneath, it always makes its way back to this level. So whenever it comes down, it makes its way back to this level. So then again, I saw this trade somewhere here, which was sometime in October last year. So I've been expecting the trade for October, November, December, January, 4 months. I've been anticipating this trade for 4 months. And then in January of 2025, it finally made it here. Now, if we trace it down, we can see that this is a trade that is in 2025. Here, if we trace it down, this is 2024, and here if we trace it down also, we can see that this is 2023. So every year the pairs or the trade somehow makes its way back here. So ladies and gentlemen, it means this took a whole year to manifest. Literally, this took a whole year to manifest. So if that will take a whole year to manifest, it means this also would take about a whole year to manifest. So it's why this is a major swing trade. Now, I'm more of a day trader and more of a swing trader compared to being a scalper. I'm less of a scalper. I literally do not scalp. I don't know. I just don't want to be watching my screen every 2 minutes. That's why I don't scalp. Now, if we look at this trade still has some momentum to carry it down to this level. Yes, down to this level. So, on a normal circumstance, you should be asking, why then did I not take my long position from here? Sorry. You should be asking, why then did I not take my short position from here till this downside? And the answer to that question is first things first. And if I had entered this trade, my stop loss would have been here. So this would have been a 1:17 risk to reward. Okay. First things first, nobody, absolutely nobody in the forex market takes a 1:17 risk to reward. You're not God. You don't have that kind of power. So that is why I almost cannot take a 1:17 because it's going to take so much time. And look at this started from September. So September, October, November, December, January, 5 months. So if I want to enter this trade here till here, it's going to take at least 5 months. So January, February, March, April, May. 5 months, May. So I cannot hold a trade from January down till May. Listen, why is it that long? Why does it have to take that long? Meanwhile, I can just take little opportunities in which I know I'm going to be in the trade. But then again, if we boil down, okay, let me delete that initially. If we boil down to the 4 hours time frame, I think we're going to see this one better. So this was a two trade something. First things first, the trade got to this key level in which I've been anticipating for about 3 months, and when it finally got here, it made a head and shoulder. Now, if we boil down to 15 minutes, I think you're going to see the head and shoulder better. Now, from the 15 minutes time frame, we can see this is like the right shoulder, the head, and then the left shoulder. Then it broke below and it made some consolidations, and it came to this angle to retest, and then we took it to the downside. So it came to this angle where it made its head and shoulder to retest before the market now took it to the downside. And then when it took it to the downside, it took it all the way down. We can see how the market took it all the way to the downside, all the way to the bottom. Literally, it got to our take profit and then reversed. And then I saw a second opportunity in the market. When the market was here, it made an inverse head and shoulder. So we can see this is the shoulder, this is the head, this is the right shoulder. And then I saw a break above and retest. Now, if we come down to a 1 hour time frame, I think we can see it better. From the 1 hour, I saw a wonderful break above and retest in a major key level. Then I just took the opportunity. So this was another 1:3 risk to reward, and this was a very, very beautiful trade. So right now, what I'm going to be expecting from this pair USD CHF, in which it still has some momentum to still push to the downside. Now, if we go to a daily time frame, and if we look at this trade from, okay, not just the daily, but I think the weekly candlestick. If we look at the weekly candlestick, we can see how the trade is going ginormously. Cancel that part. Now, if we look at the weekly candlestick, now take a look at this thing. One thing you should know about the forex market is that whenever the forex market leaves a large wick, it always fills that wick up. For example, we can see right here the forex market left a large. I mean, it was going to the downside. This week literally means the market opened at this point and it started pushing it, and the market somehow pushed the seller, or the sellers pushed the price to this level, and somehow the buyers pushed it back up. So it means whenever there is a week like this, whenever you have a very ginormous week like this, somehow another candlestick will come out to fill this week, and that is it is almost like that in the forex market. So this came out and it left this week, and this candlestick filled it. Now we can see this is another example. This came out and this candlestick filled it, because at some point it was buying, but then the sellers was able to push, or the sellers were able to push the market down, and it came out with a red candlestick. But then the buyers came out again and successfully pushed it up. Then we can also see this one. The buyers were pushing it up, the sellers pushed it back down to this level, and then the buyers came up again and successfully pushed it up. So whenever the market has this candlestick and these large wicks, it's always create another candlestick to fill this wick. We can see this one, it created another candlestick to fill this wick. So ladies and gentlemen, now we have this wick. And what do you think is going to do? Obviously, the market is going to create another candlestick that is obviously going to fill this wick. And that is exactly what it's going to do, because that is exactly what it has been doing for the longest of times. So I'm going to be expecting a sell from USD CHF from this market, and I'm going to make pretty good money if I can jump into this trade on a good entry. Like, I'm going to make a pretty good money. So this is on a weekly time frame. So if we now go down to the 4 hours, so from the 4 hours, we're expecting some sells. So what am I going to do? All I need to wait for is I'm going to wait for a break under this key level. Whenever it's going to make that break and retest, I don't know. But once it makes that break and retest, so I'm going to wait for the break, and then I'm going to take the trade to the downside, in which this could take a very long time. But whenever it plays out, it plays out. So I'm going to take this trade all the way here to the downside. So this is like a 1:5 risk to reward. And I pretty believe it's going to play out perfectly. I mean, it's the forex market, so we can expect perfect things from the forex market, and that is for USD CHF. 8 minutes. See me, I felt I've been speaking for 20 minutes. It's just 8 minutes. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we have another pair for AUD USD. Now, as for AUD USD, I'm currently on a trade on AUD USD. Now, let me show you the trade I'm having on AUD USD. From the Forex market, this is what we have from AUD USD. So I hope you can see that from AUD USD. So that's what we're having from AUD USD. And right here, we have AUD USD. I entered a trade on AUD USD, I think somewhere here. Yeah, I entered the trade somewhere here, and when I entered the trade, it started pulling big and greatly to the downside. So how I caught this trade, if we go to the daily time frame, we can see the market has been on a downtrend for a very long time. In fact, this is not really where it started from. I think it starts from the weekly. So if we check the weekly time frame, we can see that AUD USD has been on a downtrend for a long time. So this downtrend was what I caught, and we can see this is a major key level. We can see the market respects it, one, test it, two, test it, three, and it broke under and retest. So the market most likely is still going to go to the downside, but for now we know that AUD, it's still most likely going to go to the downside, but for now We know that AUD USD did a break and retest. Now, if we come to a 4 hour, so we're going to see like the overall candlestick more. So we can see the downtrend. The downtrend has been in existence for a very long time. So this downtrend was what I took opportunity over in the market. So when I got this massive break under, I got this break under the massive key level zone. Then I got a break and I got a retest, and then I took the opportunity to the downside. Now, what you need to know is in the forex market, before you take an opportunity, always wait for one, a break under a key, either under or above, a break on a key level, one, two, a retest to that key level, and three, an entry signal. Listen, once you have gotten this three, your market is, you have a 90% guaranteed chance of really making so much money from the forex market. And then we can see the market did a little head and shoulder here. If we go to the down trend, if we go to a lower time frame rather, we can see this minor head and shoulder right here. So this is the left neck, head, shoulder, break under, retest, and then we took it to the downside. So the trade is something I have been expecting for a very long time, and successfully the trade is going towards my direction. But then I entered another one here because this is like a major key level, respected here, respected here, respected here. And if we extend it to the past, it has been respected for a very long time. So we can see this key level has been respected so much that I think I'm confident enough to have another trade in which I've entered at this position. So once I enter this trade, I'm expecting it to pull down to the downside because I know fully well that this trade has a whole lot of potentials to go to the downside. Now remember what I talked about wicks and candlestick. So if we go to a weekly time frame just to see how the overall wick and candlestick is, we can see that this has a ginormous red candlestick, and the red candlestick still has a very huge wick that has some potentials to fill it. So that is what I believe the market is still going to. It still has some potentials to fill the wick and push it to the downside. We can see this week, the market, this long wick here, we can see how the market filled it. So this remaining week here, the market still has some potentials to bring out another red candlestick to fill it. That is what we're going to be expecting from the market. So once it has filled the week, it means we've gotten our take profit from also AUD USD. So I'm going to keep you guys updated on this trade. If I have more trades in the market, I'm going to obviously show you guys. Not GBP USD kind of looks good. I'm not really looking at any other market. I am just looking at USD CHF. I think USD CHF is the pair I'm going to be looking at because I'm expecting, like I said, for the market to fill this week to the downside. So for USD CHF, I'm expecting sales for USD CHF. I'm expecting the market to come to the downside. And that is just all I'm expecting for USD CHF. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to keep you all updated later. And just in case I enter any other trade except the AUD USD trade I am already on, I'm going to make you all know. Okay, bye for now.